So I'm currently working on a book about abortion, and one article that I read to push back against the 96% of biologists agree that life starts at conception was from The Conversation. So this biologist was making the case that biologists still believe different things, and even that survey that resulted in the 96% had a lot of people who didn't sign on to what the end game of the paper was even saying. He also noted another biologist that referenced 5 different spots of when life can begin. The first is like fertilization, which we normally agree that is when life begins. But then he has a critique here that almost every cell in everybody's body contains that person's complete DNA sequence, and if genetic material alone makes a potential human being, then when we shed skin cells, that's also a potential human being. But come on, guys. If I do that and little dandruff falls out, I don't expect one of them to grow up into a little Timmy or Johnny. My skin cells are not the same as my mother's skin cells. We're talking about at fertilization, there is a unique DNA from a separate individual human being. So that really wasn't convincing. Second plausible point is at gastrulation, because the embryo is not going to break apart and become any more people rather than just the one, no more twins, etc. possibility. And so that seems kind of weird to me, to be like, oh, that could be the place where life begins, because that's when we know that we're not going to be killing 2 people as opposed to 1. But as far as the abortion debate, if we protected life at any of those 2 stages, it would virtually get rid of abortion. Women don't normally know they're pregnant that early. The third is brain activity, and they reference it to the legal standard of human death when you no longer have brain activity. They thought it would be good symmetry. To me, that's really stupid, because you're talking about someone at the end of their life versus someone at their natural beginning of life. If you had a family member, and if you could afford to keep them on life support, knowing that maybe they're brain dead now, but in 9 months they're going to be as good as new, you'd probably help to make that happen. You would probably lobby the government to pay to make that happen. Think about how developed the baby is between week 24 and 27. We're talking about this baby can feel pain, sense light, touch face, suck thumbs. If it's a girl, it has her eggs in her uterus. All the major organs is formed. The baby is fine. You're just waiting for it to finish booting up. If there's something majorly wrong with your baby's brain, which there is a birth defect when there's parts of it missing and parts of the skull, it will not live long after it is born. It is not viable. Then there's viability. I think viability is super stupid. I break it down more in this article if you want to check that out. But newborns can't survive outside the womb without some kind of help. There are grown people who can't survive without some kind of assistance. Fetus is viable within the womb where it's supposed to be. You can't survive in environments where you're not viable. And viability, what does it matter if it's still inside the woman? There's just a lot wrong with it. Lastly is birth itself, which is monstrous. Even smart people can rationalize themselves into really dumb positions.